Welcome to the third part, the third video installment of the many names of fractions. And this video assumes that you have an understanding of the first video, which is renaming fractions to a higher denominator, and the second video, which is renaming fractions from a higher denominator to a smaller one in simplest form. This assignment asks to group all of these fractional models, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, into the simplest form category of 1/2, 3/4, 4/5, and 2/3. To do this, step one would be to go through the fractions and write them each letter as a fraction, both in the given form, and then see if you can get it in the simplest form, starting with A. A shows a fraction model 2/3. In the whole, there are 3 parts. 2 of them are shaded, so that is 2/3. Now ask yourself, is that in simplest form? To be in simplest form, that means that the numerator and the denominator are not divisible by any common numbers. Looking at this, you can see that the numbers are prime, so there's no way that you can divide them to be a smaller number. Prime meaning that the numbers are only divisible by themselves and 1. For instance, you could divide 2 by 2, but 3 you cannot divide by 2, and there's nothing left to divide. So this is 2/3, so that means you would write an A in the category of 2/3. Let's move to B. Starting with the denominator, you can see there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. Of those 8 parts, 6 of them are shaded. Same as before, ask yourself, is this written in simplest form? Well, using the concepts from the first and the second video, you can see that both 6 and 8 are divisible. To keep the fraction equivalent, you would need to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same value. In this case, they're both even numbers, so it should jump out to you that both the numerator and the denominator are divisible by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now 3 is a prime number. It's not divisible by, well, it's only divisible by 3 and itself. And if you look at 4, 4 is not divisible by 3. So that means it is in simplest form. So that means that for every 8 pieces of pizza, 6 are shaded, or for every 4 pieces of pizza, 3 are shaded. So you could regroup this, and you could see if I drew a line right here, this shows you that 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalent, because I'm dividing the pizza by 2, or dividing it in half. When I divide it in half, each half has 4 pieces, and 3 are shaded. Same with this half. There are 4 pieces, and 3 are shaded. So when you have 3/4 each part, it's equal to 6/8. So you would write a B in 3/4. You can pause it and try doing these on your own, and I will go through the explanation. So I will go over C right now. If you want to try it on your own, hit pause. For C, step 1 is to write the total, and you can see how this shows not only the total, but helps you see it in simplest form too. The whole is out of 8 parts. 4 of those parts are grouped, so it's showing 4 out of 8. Is this in simplest form? No, it's not, because they're both even numbers, So you could see to yourself that they must both be divisible by 2 if they are even, which would be 2 fourths. Uh-oh, they're still both even numbers, so you could get to 1 half. Now you might have realized right from the start you can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4, and you would have gotten right to 1 half. Either route will get you there. Now, this visual also helps you see that 1 half are in boxes, 1 out of every 2. You can see 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2. And that's how you wind up with 4 out of 8. So you would put a C in this box right here. Let's move down to D. Let's find the denominator first, and you could pause it and try along, remember, if you want to. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 16. There's 16 in the whole thing, and of those 16, 12 of them are grouped. Looking at this, you can see right from the start that both numbers are even, so you should be able to divide both sides by 2. And you would get 6 out of 8. Once again, they're both even, so you can even further divide by 2, and you would get 3 out of 4. Now, you could have gone straight to that if you recognized, oh, both 12 and 6 were divisible by 4. 12 divided by 4 would have gotten you to 3, and 16 divided by 4 would have gotten you to 4. What does this mean? This means that 3 out of every 4 x's are in a box. So let's see. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 out of 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3 out of 4. 1, 2, 3 out of 4. 1, 2, 3 out of 4. So D would also go in the box 3/4. Moving to letter E, we see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each row, and then you get 10 in the whole thing, and 8 of those 10 are shaded. This one, once again, recognizing they're both even, but hopefully you're starting to see the groups here. This shows that 4 out of every 5 are shaded. And there's 8 out of 10 in the whole. So this is showing that equivalency right there. Both sides are divisible by 2, and yes, you get 4 out of 5. So E, you would put right here. Moving to F, same process. The whole is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 are shaded. Is this in simplest form? Well, this is where it gets a little tricky if you don't recognize it, because, well, 3 is a prime number, but that means it's only divisible by 3 and 1, and dividing by 1, of course, never helps you, because those stay the same. So 3 you can divide by 3, and look, 6 you can also divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So in this case, the numbers weren't even. 6 was, but 3 was not, but they were still both divisible by 3. Looking at this, you can see directly too, if you divide this in half, oh, that doesn't help you to divide it in half, does it? Because we're not dividing by 2, we're dividing it into 3 parts. So if we divided it to show that visual, if we took this whole pizza and we divided it into one section, two sections, and three sections, you would see 1 out of every 2 would be shaded. So we would put F in the 1/2 category. Moving to the next one, G, we see there are 4, 8, 12, and 8 of them are grouped. So, taking a look at this, we see both numbers are even. So I'm going to start by dividing by 2. If it's possible, you could divide by a bigger number and challenge yourself to think about what that is. Meantime, I'll do 4, dividing each section by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Once again, they're both even numbers. So I'm going to divide by 2 again and get 2/3. Right from the start, you might have realized 8 and 12 are both divisible by 4. And that would have gotten you straight to 2/3. Looking at the picture model, you can see there are 1, 2, 3 rows or columns of x's, and well, 2 of those 3 rows are grouped. So you might have been able to see just from the visual that would be 2/3 immediately, and you would put a G under 2/3. Moving to that next model, there are 5 total, and 4 of them are grouped in boxes. Well, 4 can be divisible by 2 or 4, but if you look at 5, 5 is not divisible by either one of those numbers, which means it's in simplest form. There's no number that both sides can be divided by. So this letter H will go in 4/5 right here, and we have one last box where we have 1 out of 2, and of course that's in simplest form, so I would go right here. And that should be the process that you go through when you're completing a sheet like this, is writing it out and writing that whole fraction first and then working to get it in simplest form.